hello, and thank you ever so much for watching as always. Now, your eyes don't deceive you. This is the final of an actual competition that I am in. That is Chris Hogg, who is my opponent, and I am his opponent. Yes, this really has happened, and thank God I had the cameras in order to prove that this actually took place and wasn't a figment of my imagination. This was filmed at that's Andrew Sinclair there in the background, by the way, of WDF comms fame. He's the referee for this final. This was a competition held at the South Croydon Conservative Club in July, and it was a qualifying event for the Champion of Champions competition. What is the Champion of Champions, I hear you say? Well, this is a big tournament organised by Red Dragon Darts, and it's designed to recapture the glory, if you like, and the excitement of the News of the World competition, which was held for decades and decades and decades, from, I'm fairly sure, from the 1950s onwards, actually. But it was certainly one of the pioneering events that was shown on World of Sport in the 70s, which sort of propelled darts into people's living rooms and into the public spotlight. And of course, there's other tournaments like Lakeside and then later the PDC. Of course, News of the World tournament finished, and there were a few attempts to bring it back, but more recently, in the last sort of 10 years or so, Red Dragon have given it a real push, and it's really their marquee flagship event, and they hold it in Wales. This is the finals finals day competition, and I actually went along a couple of years ago, and you can find those videos of the matches I managed to capture on finals day on the channel, and I'll put a few links in the description. As you can see, Hogs won the bull, and I'm throwing next. And I just, spoiler alert, I don't start very well here, it has to be said, so please forgive me. What's the main USP of this competition? Well, it's best of 3 legs throughout, so it's quick fire. And yes, fine, some players do criticise the format because it doesn't give you a real foothold. It's not a quote-unquote proper long format darts tournament, so you will always get people criticising it in that respect, and maybe they have a point, but as I say, if you don't like it, then don't enter. But what it does mean is that you can have 256 players at the finals day, and you can do the whole tournament in a day, and the prize money is really very, very good for the player that wins it. It's £10,000, and most recently that essentially guarantees you to always be on the list of the Modus Super Series as a call-up. In the past, Gerwyn Price and Jim Williams have won this competition, and in most recent years Kurt Parry and Alex Small have been victorious. It's never produced a double winner, as far as I can see from the previous Roll of Honour. Really big deal in Wales. Most of the qualifying tournaments are held in Wales, so it's got a real affinity with the Welsh darting community. I have visions and fantasies, believe it or not, yes, really, about going to Wales on tour and just playing a qualifying tournament every night, because you can do that, because they're all listed on the Red Dragon website, and you can do that if you really wanted to. I remember interviewing John Davey at finals day a couple of years ago, and he actually told me that he did 10 qualifying events in order to get through. So it just goes to show the connection that the Welsh darter community has with this event. I'll talk a bit more about that in a second. I'll just have a quick look at how we're getting on. As you can see, Hogs on a finish after 66, and I'll tell you a bit more about Chris in a second. I'm doing terribly, absolutely terribly, but you've got to keep going, haven't you? Even if you're 200 points behind after 18 darts, because you just never know. This is all on a stage, by the way, and at this point I'm absolutely just sweltering and really, really struggling. So it was quite something, quite a new experience for me, because of course often, let's be quite frank about this, I'm not on a stage when I'm playing my darts. Yes, so coming back to the Champion of Champions, there are 256 qualifying tournaments all around the mostly all around the UK. There was one in Germany a few years ago, but I don't think they do that anymore. And with a few exceptions, I think the Welsh Open winner gets in, for example. Hogg's going for double 5. And oh, I'm still in it. I'm still in it. Don't want to spoil it. Don't want to spoil it. Now, it doesn't go. By the way, the 107 doesn't go. There's no big checkouts for me in this competition. So there's 256 qualifying events all throughout the UK, and this was one of them. Probably about half are in England, if you had to guess. There aren't too many in the south of England, so this was why it was quite a pleasant surprise to go along to this one in Croydon. Now that is a terrible, terrible miscount, as you can see there. Absolutely appalling, and I should have had a dart or double there, but it's always good to own up to your mistakes, and that was one such mistake there. So this leg's still going on. We've both had a mare. I'm sure Chris won't mind me saying that. He wants double 1 now. Remember, it doesn't matter how you get over the line, as long as you win the leg. Averages, smaverages, they're only a guide. That was a good one. That hit the 12, actually. That was slightly better. Ooh, who'd have thought it? Certainly I didn't when I was playing that leg. Dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. I was playing okay up until this point. For me, probably high 50s, early 60s average. And, oh, these are good. Yes. I'm so happy I had the camera to film that, because it doesn't happen very often. And what was really nice about that was that Vicky Pilgrim, Daryl Pilgrim's wife, was in the crowd and gave it the big un. So that was really lovely. So, bit of information then about Chris Hogg. So, Chris, you can see, is sponsored by Steve Goddard, SPG Wealth Management, Scolia, and Catra Media Accounting. And he plays to a very good level, much better than what you've seen in that first leg, it has to be said, and you'll see a bit more from him as this match goes on, without wishing to spoil the result. He's played on the Challenge Tour this year. He's done Q-School multiple times. I regularly see him average in the high 70s to early 80s. And is a very methodical player, practices hard, and can often be seen at local events. And also, fun fact, was an extremely talented runner in his day. And in my other life, I'm an athletics team manager, and if he ran the times that he did in his heyday, now he would be straight into my team. Let's not make any mistake about that. So I think it's often the case with darts. If you've had success in another sport, it can translate very nicely through to darts. So as you can see, I was doing fairly well in this leg, and then suddenly Hogg's just able to turn it on and apply the pressure. So at this point I'm absolutely bricking it, because I can see the Hogg is coming back at me, and there's no Shanghai, but there's an outside chance I'm coming back for 60. So this seemed like a good idea to commentate on myself when I thought of this video, but sadly not. So here we go, 60 folks should get a match start to qualify for Cardiff. Double 10. Oh. Now, what was interesting about that? Let's just let Hogg throw, and then I will commentate on that. That's a fantastic treble 10, isn't it? Oh, lovely. 20 darter. And I'm trying to look pleased for Chris there. So I can see my video is not working, so I've just frozen in the corner of your screen, so I'm not sure what's happened there, but at least the audio is still working. So, when I finished this match, one of the interesting things that was said to me was asked by Connor Scott, and Connor said, happens to be top of the challenge tour, as a name drop for you, and he said, how did it feel when you were throwing the match darts? And actually, because of course the problem is if you've got things going through your head, if your arm's shaking, then that's a real sign of nerves and inexperience. And actually, I felt okay. It wasn't too bad, so that bodes well for the future. Missed opportunity there after a treble 20 with the first dart, and that will prove costly. I actually use Connor Scott's flights. That's the fanboy that I am. Yes, so just a quick word for what I have you. Scott Golding, who's the organiser of this competition, did a fantastic job at the South Croydon Conservatives Club. He also runs a money league out of this venue. It's a really nice venue. There's two... we played on the main stage setup, but there is normally a two-board setup on the stage. There's a further two boards in the front of the club, and there's a third one in the middle. So it's really nice. It's really good, and it's always great to go to a venue that takes its darts seriously. And so I do highly recommend it if you get the chance to visit. After 12 darts here, Hogg's very much in the driving seat. I'll need to switch to the 19s if I'm going to leave a finish. That's an excellent treble 17 there from Chris, just turning on the skill. And I need a treble 19, and I got a treble 3. So yeah, 6 darts from 1 through 3. It's not looking very good for me at this point. You've probably already drawn your own conclusions. I can't go to Cardiff Depot anyway this year. That's a great treble 20. Look at that. Great setup. I can't go to Cardiff Depot this year. I wanted to go as a spectator, if nothing else. I would have gone, obviously, if I'd had success here. Lovely ton. Look at that. Great stuff. Pressure's on, Chris. The pressure's on. I may have watched this back a few times, but unfortunately the result's always the same. So 220 darters there for Chris. So you might look at that average and go, oh, 61 average, no rubbish. But it's only because of us a dodgy first leg from both of us. 220 darters, let's forget, is a 75. So, if you're going to be really pedantic about averages, that's what you want to be focusing on. A really amazing experience, and again, well done to Scott Golding and the venue for hosting us, and good luck to Chris Hogg in Cardiff. I really hope it goes well for you. Go win some games, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to go back to a qualifying tournament next year and try and get there myself. You just never know. Thank you for watching.